You are listening to the biggest gaming network ever created. This is Gridiron Gamers. This is Stocks and Logan. True.
If pen and ink, I can link together words in my bitten. So I would urge you listen to these words that I'm spitting. We all die. Some of us early and some late. Like Pac-Man trying to escape his fate. Like shredding check with no grade, fishing with no bait, picnics and no date, paying to get laid, phones and no fade, just with no rate. Like using mathematical formulas to find your soulmate. But where this point is, baby, yeah, it's true. You got to sit back, realize you're gonna die. Get off your couch and stop living your damn life. This time flies, then the Grim Reaper gonna arrive. You can't escape fate, so stare it straight in the eyes.
I'm
Watch your
Italy
baby
and watching Talk with Stocks and Logan.
Wait, is that our voice? Yeah, that's right, we're back. Finally, it's been a while, Stocks, but we're back. That is the voice of Logan and Stocks.
What's up going on, guys?
We wanted to get something out to you guys. We don't know if this will be the best show. My phone will probably ring a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Our voices will give out because we really haven't done this in weeks. But you guys have been asking for a divisional show. You're going to have to pump the brakes a little bit. Not our fault. Donnie Moore decided he was going to do some really funky rating, release where they release these guys. We don't get a full team breakdown. So if we don't get a full team breakdown, either does the Gridiron Gamers, unfortunately. But we are going to go into first down and talk about our impressions of the demo. What were your impressions, Stocks?
My first impressions were a little bit choppy, not too much fluidity to it, but I did like the details of the grass on the jerseys, the commentating of Jim Nantz is awesome. I mean, just the setup of the game really came along really well, and we have to take in consideration that is just a demo.
It is
not the
just
final
a
product.
demo, yeah.
You know?
It's not supposed to be perfection. If a demo was perfection, they wouldn't give it away for free. So, just relax on that. The game's, gonna change. Maybe the wide receivers don't drop so many passes on a line skill level. You never know. But as it's packaged for us now, I would say the presentation, the sunshine on the stadiums, the way it flecks off the helmets, the way the shadows cast on the stadiums, that was what I noticed right away. I mean, I probably should have noticed more football things being a football fan, but honestly, that was what captivated me at first. I was like, wow, feels like I'm actually in a stadium, like peeking in on a stadium. And then, like you said, the voice of Jim Nantz, and Phil Simms, to hear those guys, it felt like I was watching a CBS broadcast for a while, and I was like, wow. Of course, then you start picking up the controller and you realize all the glitches and stuff, and the bad things, and you realize you're playing a game. But the presentation, especially in the beginning, was pretty good.
Yeah, and I was purposely trying to see if there's any Superman catches. I was purposely throwing at a tight end covered by a linebacker over the top.
I was doing the same, man. We work the same the same level sometimes. I swear we do the same things, but I was doing the same thing. Just lobbing passes up to the cornerback. Seeing what kind of adjustments they would make, like you said about the tight end. Seeing if there's any Superman picks. I was seeing how fluid the reaction was between wide receiver and corner. Linebacker and tight end. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah. I also noticed a little bit more, you get hit and you kind of bounce off a little bit if it's not a good, clean, solid hit.
Yeah.
That kind of stood out to me. I really like that. You bounce it out into the outside. You don't just get flattened out.
Yeah, that
You kind of get knocked over, and their legs are still moving.
While we were talking about testing the game, I ran with Marshawn Lynch. He broke a few tackles. I was like, I just wanted to test the engine, the Infinity engine. I wanted to see what it could do. So I did the same exact play, back to back with Leon Washington. Leon Washington got pancaked, like he should. And I was like, okay, that impressed me. Like, a lot of times, if you learn how to break a tackle in this game, you could break it with anyone. You could break it with a 99 truck guy or a guy who wasn't really a trucker. But I was impressed. Like, Leon Washington got pancaked. He got killed. I was surprised he didn't fumble it. So, that I was impressed with. But there were some things, Stocks. I'll let you start. There were some things that were pretty bad about the game, like you mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah, just the fluidity of the game. It didn't seem like the guys were in motion.
Yeah.
With everybody, like it wasn't the sequels to each like step of like, all right, you hand it off to the back. Once that back got to the hole, it seemed like everybody was on a different page almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just the motion lyric or whatever they call it, that they're not on the same page and it's because of the demo, but it just didn't seem like everybody rolled together as like the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman.
We can preface that, this is a demo and they're giving it away for free and it is downloadable, so they can't put all the content in. They gotta, chop it somewhat. But I did notice the same thing. I mean, it kind of looked like your crazy uncle or your crazy aunt trying to control the video camera on a beat sometimes. You'd be here, then you'd be there, and then you'd do this, and, she was like a step behind you, and you were wondering where she was, and you were trying to watch a crazy home video, because that's honestly what it felt like to me at first. It was like, wait, I hand it off to the running, okay, now we hit the hole, So I did notice that as well. But let's look into... We did get some ratings. Now, they're not full team ratings, but we do have the running back ratings and the quarterback, I believe, right?
Yes, the full.
Yeah, the full.
Yep, the full of them, yep.
There is a little clip of wide receivers, but there's no real big surprise, and we don't really have the full list, so, I mean, it's really not even worth talking about to me. I mean, but was it strange a little bit? I guess we can spend just a moment on the... just a moment on the wide receivers. Was it strange that the tight ends were included with the wide receivers? I found that a bit strange.
Yeah, I didn't think tight ends and wide receivers were in the same position on the field and got the same stats,
I mean, I know it's a passing league, but come on.
Give it your own category.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But Maurice Jones-Drew definitely earned the top spot as a running back, right?
Yes.
Okay, so moving into second down, we're going to be talking about the running backs now, the full list. Stocks, what was your biggest impression of the running backs going into second down?
Well, not even that. My whole theory is these stats and these overalls are basically based on last year's performances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct with that? It's not, and it's kind of overall as in what a type of a player career-wise you have.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is the whole Adrian Peterson, even Peyton Manning, being injured last year and other superstars that were injured. I don't understand how, if you're projecting last year's, let's say, outcome, why it doesn't affect this year's, overall. Like, I don't believe Adrian Peterson should be a 97 because he's not really going to be a 97 and 13 this year in real life in Madden. He's still on the pup list. He's not at 97 overall. Yeah, he should be when healthy.
But when is he going to be healthy?
But when is he going to be healthy? Because he had a major injury.
See,
So he should be bumped down everything just a little bit.
injuries are always hard because as we play an online franchise, we're going to have different injuries, real injuries.
Her name is
How can you really value a real
got that one.
It's a hard deal to figure out what Adrian
No,
Peterson...
but what I'm saying is Adrian Peterson did not perform last year at a 97 overall on the field in the real NFL. You would take that and turn it into a Madden game.
Okay, but either did Peyton Hillis. So, how much... Now, I'm not saying Peyton Hillis and Adrian Peterson are the same, but I'm saying Adrian Peterson has somewhat of a reputation as a really good back. At what point does the reputation of Adrian Peterson take over for the injury concern?
Well, that's my theory, where you would just bump him down to maybe like the Ray Rice and the Forte.
So you still think he's a 90?
Oh, yes, high 90s.
Okay.
But you can't put him in the same category as Maurice Jones-Drew because he played 16 games last year.
Yeah.
And Maurice Jones-Drew has a greater potential this year being a 97 than Adrian Peterson coming off ACL surgery.
I told you my phone would ring. I told you a little bit rusty.
Nice.
But going back and not taking too much time up. But I think that's where you were going. I just wanted to make sure. You're saying Adrian Peterson, not bumped down a whole bunch, not a horrible back, you know, not saying that. But let's face it, he's not going to be a 97 out of the gate. Or even at all. Maybe he plays pretty well, but he doesn't play great. You know what I mean? So.
And that's the same thing. I'll go back to Peyton Manning. You rated him pretty high. You gave him a decent injury, better than Stafford. When he's missed a full year, you don't know what he's going to be like. I was thinking I would take that into consideration.
My name is Mark. Oh, wow.
I agree with that. But again,
Got that one.
from Madden. I think he values reputation a little much. But if you were going to value, if me and you were doing it, if you were doing the running backs, I was doing the quarterback, how do we want to preface it? At what point do you put reputation versus real life stats, last year's stats? Where do they merge for you? Because that's where a lot of people are having trouble.
A percentage-wise, I guess you would probably go 50-50 with my case. 50% reputation of your career, and the other 50% is what have you done for me lately.
Yeah. Well, the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. So I tend to say, throw the reputation out the window, because you know what I find funny, right? Let's take a guy like Arian Foster, right? He wasn't supposed to be anything. He worked his way up. He was a real gem. You know, proved everyone wrong, right? When the game first came out, no one knew who he was. I think, honestly, Stocks, I think his rating was a 60. And then everyone's like, oh, wow, this guy's amazing. And they went to play with him, and he was horrible, right? And everyone was waiting for that roster update that he gets boosted to the 90s, the high 80s, you know? And, like, he's going to be a stud. And I just think that in the beginning of the game, I think a player should have to earn that in an update. I don't think Adrian Peterson right out the gate should be a 97. I don't think, you know, I think they rely too much on reputation.
Well, the thing is you look at this chart and it's really nicely done. And what stands out to me is Chris Johnson of the Titans is rated at a 90. I think 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, he was a 95, 98.
Yeah.
He was the highest night. He was really, really high.
2 years ago, he was a 99, I think, 98, 99. And
Okay,
then
so they dropped him down.
last year he was a 95, I believe.
Another good player to look at is Darren McFadden of the Raiders. He's rated a 91. He's hurt every year. Every year, this guy is hurt.
Every year. So if you're going to go
Every year.
by reputation, doesn't that hurt you as well? I see what you're saying. It's a very good point.
You also look at Jamal Charles. You know, he's rated at 91. He had an ACL surgery last year. Is he going to be a 91 this year? Is he capable with that type of injury to be that type of player?
Now let's say this before we tear these ratings apart. He's got
I'm
a
not
tough.
tearing them down. I'm just stating a few players. I think the rest of the players are really spot on.
I agree. For the most part, he's almost always rated 91. If you look at it from an overall perspective, you know, I disagree strongly with some of his things. I wanted to make that clear before people start watching this show and say, "Oh, Stocks hates Donnie Moore," you know, and that goes up on Twitter because you know Manny's got a Twitter account now, so he'll be tweeting all these shows out. So, and if I may plug this real quick, the people can talk to us now, Stocks. We have a link up on the webpage. All you gotta do is click on it, and we'll get it on a message board. I mean, instantly. And you can say, hey, we want you to do this. Hey, we want you to shut up, Logan. We want you to let Stocks talk more. And, you know, we'll try to accommodate as much as we can. So whatever you want to say. If you want to say, hey, you're doing a great job. If you want to say, you know, I want you to talk more about this, that's the place to do it. But as we go back, I mean, we're not trying to rip these apart. We're just trying to be fair. There's some real good things I agree with, and then there's things I do not agree with at all. Like Randy Moss being rated so highly. But I digress. Anything about the running backs that sticks out besides the Adrian Peterson? I think that's the biggest. Oh, he's still that high? I was shocked. That was my reaction. Oh, he's still that high. He's a good guy.
Like, you know, Rashad Mendenhall, I'm gonna go back. He's rated an 86. He's on the PUP list this year. He got hurt last year. In 86 is, I think, a little high. What I think they did do good on is the Panthers running back and Stewart and Williams both rated at 84. They did that very well because
Yeah.
the Panthers do not really have a number one running back. They're 1A and 1B. So, in their styles and their running abilities are very, very close, and I think an 84 is right on the money.
I'm going to make a quick point about Adrian Peterson. So it looks like we're not just dogging him for the injury, because honestly, without the injury, I don't think he was playing that greatly. And I'll make this point exactly. Maurice Jones-Drew is what? He's rated 97? I'll get back to it. And Adrian Peterson's rated what, a 96?
No, 97.
No, they're both 97, so that's my point. Maurice Jones-Drew didn't have anything on that team. Didn't have a good quarterback. Doesn't even look like he has a promising quarterback. I mean, it looks like they're about ready to bail on Garrett. They brought in Henney. They say there's an open competition. They don't have a wide receiver. They have a really super young defense, and it just doesn't look very promising. But yet Maurice Jones-Drew goes out there, doesn't get hurt. He's a workhorse. Everyone knows who you're going to. Meanwhile, Adrian Peterson, he was supposed to be the guy, didn't do it. They don't have a bad defense. They still have Allen and maybe one of the best pass rushers in the game. They have a better quarterback than Jacksonville does. And I think Adrian Peterson could have done a lot more than he did. I really think so. If you're going to rate the guys the same, you're saying they're the same. And I think everyone would agree that they'd rather have Maurice Jones-Drew than Adrian Peterson. So I'll make that point. Just taking away the injury. I think, even if he didn't get hurt, Maurice Jones-Drew would have ended up better than Peterson.
Yeah, comparing them both, if both in their prime, and a healthy Adrian Peterson, I think, should be rated a 98, and Maurice Jones-Drew would be a 97 for me.
Slightly under. Okay. But even still, this year, he played a lot better. And even the reputation between the two of them isn't really that big of.
No.
I don't think Maurice Jones-Drew has ever faced a serious injury in his life.
No.
So, but that was just my quick point. We can move on now. We should talk about some other guys. McCoy, rated too highly, 95?
No. They're spot on. The guy does everything well. I like the 99 exclusiveness. I mean, he's a Darren Sproles type, and he can take it to the house anytime. So no, they're spot on.
You know what that 99 means, though? That 99 means he's got some elusiveness like a running back I know very well from Detroit.
Yeah.
Guys, those type of guys. I'm just saying.
He's the closest guy to that type of Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Not saying he's a Barry Sanders.
I didn't want to drop. Yeah. I didn't want to drop the name either, because I didn't want to start making them comparisons, because I'm not making that at all.
He's the closest.
But I'm saying this, the shakiness of how he can just break your ankle so quick. He better live up to that 99. I don't know how long it's going to be there. I'm not very high on McCoy. I know what he's done. I'm just not a McCoy guy. I'm sorry. So that's where we differ. I have him in the high. I'd actually have him at 92. I just don't think he can do anything else besides shake.
If you can shake guys, you're just going to get positive yards. He doesn't need the speed.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I like a more pounder. You've always known. I mean, I like guys like Steven Jackson. Bigger guys. That's just my style. So we can disagree. What about John Kuhn though? And I want you to be objective now. Is that too high for a fullback? He's rated over some pretty good running backs, Doc.
Yeah, he is, but the thing is he doesn't stand out in any, specific type of category. He's got a 48 elusiveness, so he's a straight line runner.
Yeah.
But I think it makes him an 86. You don't see the other attributes. It's his awareness. He picks up blitzers very well. He catches the ball very well for a fullback, if you want to consider him a fullback. And short yardage, he's pretty strong. So I don't think the 86 should be what it is, but it is. He should be more like an 84, but like I said, he doesn't do anything great. He just does all those things a little bit very well.
I agree with you completely, and that comes from a Lions fan, so you can tell we're not being, biased in the matter. And I want to make sure Stocks Wilson. So we agree that, Kuhn can be rated that highly. That's okay. I don't think it should be a very common thing. The thing I have a problem with is Vontae Leach from the Ravens is way up there.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think Madden gives a lot of love to fullbacks because the fullbacks are kind of a dying breed, and the fullbacks now kind of stand out because there's not so many. You see, a handful of fullbacks, and you're like, wow, this guy's really good, but they don't have much to going on because there's only a handful of fullbacks that are, in the league now.
He's a 92, and he's higher than Gore. Isn't that a bit too high?
No, because if you watch the games, the Texan games, the reason why if the hole's not there for Foster, Leach is going to make that hole for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it carries over, I think, to Foster's stats.
Well,
I think if you took, Leach out of that offense, let's see if he got hurt or he got traded, Foster would have definitely not the type of yardage and touchdowns.
well, I think you can. He's with the Ravens now.
Yeah.
He went,
Oh, okay. He did. He was with the.
right.
He was with the Texans.
He switched a lot. And that's what kind of confuses me. If he's such a good fullback, why is there so many teams? And maybe you're onto something. Maybe it's a dying breed. Maybe you're right. That we don't value fullbacks like we did, and so they don't seem as important.
So if that's the case, Ray Rice is going to have a decent year if he's with the Ravens now.
But you know what's funny about Ray Rice and Leach, okay? You got Ray Rice rated only one spot below his fullback. Talk about a running game, eh?
Sure.
Like whether you agree with it or not, that is the best running back fullback combination in the game. I mean, some can say maybe Darren McFadden and Reese, but I don't think so. What do you think of the Raiders fullback? You know who I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't.
The really quick kid. He was actually a running back, I think, in Louisville. Let me get his last name's. Let's see. Guys like staying really high in him because they love their fullbacks to run. Let me get his name. He's down here somewhere. Here he is. Let me see. Marcel Reese.
Okay, yep.
He's right below Beanie Wells. He's got 90 speed for a fullback, which he's fast. He is fast, but he's not your typical fullback. He's more like a two running backs guy to me.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with like the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like Tolbert, he's not your
Tolbert.
atypical fullback because he actually splits out wide in the wide receiver slot sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same type of thing. So how do you value a fullback like the Ravens have, who's really, really up there, in the running back fullback combination, versus a guy who's still pretty up there, slightly behind Beanie Wells, who has 90 speed, and guys like Mike Tolbert, I just want to know your style in Madden. Do you think it really changes? Because, we say we devalue the fullback, but yet there's still some classic fullbacks, and then there's fullbacks who have 90 speed. Is that good or is that bad, do you think?
Well, yeah. The more players you can have on your team that have very good attributes and good styles, it can only help your team in short yardages and stuff. I mean, come on, it can't be a bad thing, right?
I just think 90 speed for a fullback is pretty fast. I don't know if he's that fast, but I guess that goes back to Matt always overrates guys' speeds a little bit, and it's not going to be a perfect system, He did do real good on these guys. I mean, he rated probably over 500 running backs. So we can't hate the guy. I mean, he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, but when you have a guy, I have to admit, Joseph Adai, okay?
77 overall?
Yeah, I'm from Patriot Country, and I live in Patriot Country. I've been to the practices, and the stuff that I heard. The first practice, Joseph Adai walked off the field within 5 minutes. Just done. I mean, so how do you rate a guy that's career is borderline, basically over?
Reputation, I guess.
You know,
Reputation,
just-
man.
it's just silly
But I mean, again,
because he's rating like, you know, you go all the way down the list and he's rating like, you know, backups, like really good, decent, you know, solid backups. I'll give you a name.
I got a name right here for you. He's got Joseph Adai rated higher than LaMichael James.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's a rookie. I don't have anything to base it off, Logan. He has got Joseph Adai rated higher than, let's see. He's got Joseph Adai rated higher than, I'm looking for a name.
I got Rashad Jennings and Javon Ringer. Two guys.
What about McCluster, who had to do a lot because Charles was, you know, down.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. I have to agree. Even Toby Gerhardt's not even rated at 77, and he had to carry the load after, you know, Adrian Peterson went down. So I agree completely. And again, I mean, I'll be fair. The Lions have a guy named Jerome Harrison who's pretty good. He's rated at 75. The guy's got like brain cancer. He has no business being rated that highly. He didn't play last year. He's fighting for his life. I mean, I get it. Give him a little boost with the game. That's cool, but it's not really realistic.
Well, if he's going to rate guys as low as 58 and 59 and 60 and 61, though, then, you know, you need to lower your expectations and see that, you know, even if Joseph Adai was, you know, going to be on the team, there's no way he was ahead of Woodhead and the other two rookies,
Exactly.
you know, from last year.
So, any wide receivers that pop out at you that I think Randy Moss, just playing the demo, I was able to see Randy Moss's ratings. It's pretty ridiculous to be over 90 speed at that age to me.
Well, we can't knock it because we know T.O. just, you know, came out for the trial for the Seahawks and ran a 4.5, 4.4.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do it when you're old, so you kind of have to take that in consideration if you can do that.
Yeah, I guess those guys are just freaks of nature.
Exactly.
I don't get,
I mean, if Brett Favre was still in the game, wouldn't he still have like a 99, you know, injury rating?
and,
You know, so.
and a really good throw power, you know, I guess you're right. And some of those old names are going to sneak in the game. So give us two names right off the top of your head that are going to sneak back in after retirement.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Brett Favre?
I'll take him. I'll take him as a backup quarterback.
Now, would that hurt you as a Packers fan to see him come back? Would you be happy? Like, okay, he's back in the league. Cool, I want to
Yeah.
play him one more time. Or
Yeah.
do you only want him back as a Packer?
I only want him as a Packer, so if anybody gets him, I'll send you a 6-pack of beer or something. Just send him my way or something.
Right, yeah, I got you. So, we look at quarterbacks. We've talked about the Peyton Manning Stafford thing. And oh man, I could go on about that for days, but.
Well, let's get it out. Let everybody hear what your thoughts are.
My problem with it, okay, if you're going to base something off a reputation, right? A football reputation, say Peyton Manning's played in the league 12 years, you know. He hasn't got hurt, but that one injury, right? I'm okay with that. But you also can't say, well, Matthew Stafford's only played in the league, you know, a couple years. He has a horrible reputation for getting injured. I think when you do something like that, you can't hate the guy because he's only played in the league a few years. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand there's a difference between college and the NFL, but he hadn't got injured in college. And really, honestly, the injuries he had in the NFL weren't serious injuries. They were fluke things. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to ever get injured again, but he hurt his shoulder. It wasn't like he hurt his back or had a major concussion where you're worried about his head or his neck or, you know. He hurt his shoulder. Unfortunately, it was hurt bad enough he had to sit out part of a season. He has never missed a season in the NFL. Full season.
And I actually heard something the other day about Stafford and his career. Matthew Stafford, those hits he's taken, the ones that injured him, they said that any other quarterback that got hit like that would be out also. And then my theory is you go into that, then you look at these ratings and you take, okay, Stafford's rated at 91. He threw for 5,000 yards last year. Peyton Manning, rated at 93, was out of football for a year, had 4 neck surgeries. Who has a better opportunity this year to live up to that overall? Peyton Manning at a 93 or Stafford at a 91?
Exactly. Okay, I'll give you maybe Peyton Manning. This isn't about Peyton Manning to me. I'm not gonna go there for I'm looking at Stafford now, and I'll give you my biggest point. Okay, my biggest point. And if you disagree with me, I don't think you don't know football. Donnie Moore give Matthew Stafford a 65 injury rating last year. I was like, okay, fair. He's played 3 years in the NFL? Injured 2 years, even though they weren't very serious injuries, but one did sideline him for a while. Okay, cool. I can go with that. I think he'll be healthy this year, and then by Madden 13 he'll have a good rating. He's rated a 65 again. So Donnie rated him a 65 last year and a 65 this year. So he's saying Matthew Stafford didn't prove to him he could stay healthy. He didn't miss a single game last season. He put up 5,000 yards. He took a team that should have no business in the playoffs to the playoffs. I don't know what he could have proved beyond that. And he didn't change his injury rating at all. At all. He was a 65 and then a 65 again. So that whole year of staying healthy, that reputation, supposedly, if you stay healthy, I'll boost it up, didn't happen with Stafford. I don't know why.
So then that's the case where you have to take Peyton Manning and lower his.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it to somebody that has basically last year, if we're basing it 50% last year and 50% your overall career, okay, we'll give it to Peyton Manning. He's done it over half of it for his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
But to have 4 neck surgeries and miss the whole year, you have to lower those expectations and put those injury ratings different. You have to, because it's just not right.
Well, the thing that bugs me, take Peyton Manning out of it. Stafford was rated a 65 last year. I was okay with that. I was like, oh yeah, he's got to prove himself. He can stay healthy. He stayed healthy all season. Put up some of the best numbers any quarterback has ever put up in the league. Took a team, with a bad offensive line to the playoffs, and he still gets the same injury rating. I don't get it. Is there any other quarterbacks that are sticking out to you? I thought Philip Rivers was too high. I like Philip. I think he was too high.
Yes, Philip Rivers will not be a 92 this year overall compared to on the field. If you were to take those numbers, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The overall numbers and actually project them onto the real football this year.
Now,
Philip Rivers will not be a 92.
Now, granted, we have an update coming, so they're gonna base some stuff off the preseason. But let's remember, the starters don't play in the preseason, so the starters' ratings won't really change much. We're talking about ratings that might change from preseason, so you might see the backup of the whoever it is. You might see Luck's rating go up a bit, or you might see John Skelton's rating go up a bit for the Cardinals because Cobb got injured in the preseason and hasn't played as well, and Skelton played better. You might see Russell Wilson's rating go up because he played pretty good in the preseason. But the starters don't really play in the preseason, so I don't see how that can really change. Now, I think he actually did a pretty good job with the quarterbacks, though. I have to be honest.
Yeah, the only thing I think I would give is a boost to Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton is in that Philip Rivers, Romo, low 90s.
Yeah.
I really think, from what I've seen, Cam Newton can make all the throws on the field. He's got the set of the quickest legs besides Mike Vick, in the league with 14 touchdowns.
I still think
he's so dynamic in all ways that you need to give boost to, or he already did it 1 year. But, the cat is out of the bag. I mean, this guy is just unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that goes back to my overall point. I think we give too much to reputation and not year to year. This game is year to year, so the stats should be mostly based off year to year, in my opinion. So a guy like Vic, I think they really confused the name. I think they wanted to put Cam Newton there and accidentally put Vic there because they were confused I thought they got a time machine or something because no way Michael Vick is rated higher than Cam Newton next year.
Well, they did do right with Eli Manning making him an elite quarterback.
They
Very
did.
happy they did that. They needed to. They can't just keep throwing him under the rug because of his brother. I know a lot of people don't like Eli and the Giants or whatever because, whatever. But he's won 2 Super Bowls, and the only thing is he doesn't have great regular seasons. He has very good postseasons. So what does that make him? A clutch quarterback, in my word.
Yeah. And again, okay, he doesn't have a good, season, but, a quarterback who knows the difference between a season and the playoffs has what? Besides clutch. He has good awareness. And Eli Manning's awareness in this game's a 95. That's fair. They're not saying he's the most accurate quarterback. He's only got 92, accuracy. For an elite quarterback, that's not very good. He's got one of the, for the elite group, the top 3, he's got the worst accuracy, and some of the worst throw power. But you're right, it's his intangible skills, the leadership, the clutch, ability. The ability to hang in a pocket, because Eli can really hang in a pocket.
Yes, he does. He takes hits, too.
I mean, so I think of all the ratings I've seen so far, the quarterbacks were the most accurate. Even though I disagree strongly with the Stafford. Just the injury thing. I like everything else, but I think you know this, Docs, as everyone knows this. If your quarterback's not on the field, it doesn't matter his ratings because he won't be playing. And I just think, no matter if he can make all the throws for me or not, if he's injured, what good's he going to do, If he's a 94 or whatever he is, 99 throw power, really good accuracy down the field. If he's not in the game on the bench, he can't throw that from the bench. So, but other than that, what do you think about Matt Flynn? You played with him, I'm sure, in the demo.
The rating of 79 overall is very, comparable. The question's still out on Flynn. He's more of a game manager. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He's very aware of the play. So he stays in the pocket well. He should be exactly right around where there is. I would give him a 79. Just because of his track record, he only has a few games under him, but those games he does, he's showing promise. And in preseason, he is showing promise that he's not gonna win the game for you, but he's not gonna lose the game for you.
Now, in Madden, I'll throw some names out. Would you rather have Wheaton of the Browns or Gabbert of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Now, is this starting over as a team?
Yeah, if you can put them on whatever team you want. But those are only 2 quarterbacks you can choose.
Gabbert or Wheaton?
That's a good question because Wheaton's a rookie, but we all know he's old. So he's not I can build with a younger quarterback because he's really not that young.
Yeah. Not playing with him off the top of my head, I would just say Gabbert because he's been in the league one year.
And he's younger than Wheaton. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
He's been in the league longer, but Wheaton went and played professional baseball, or tried.
Yeah, it's a tough question because, they don't have much of a track record, but like I said,
Right.
I take the guy with 1 year experience.
Now, again, do you start a guy like Chad Henne, or do you start a guy like Gabbert? Let me get.
I think Gabbert has the more upside. I think we've seen enough to show that. I guess what I mean for the short run, yeah.
The reason I ask is because Chad Henne's rated higher than Gabbert.
Yeah, see, Chad Henne's been at the helm of the wheel, for some time, and I think you've seen his upside, and that's it, and you saw his ceiling,
Yeah, I would agree. I think at Chad Henne's best, he could be a Matt Castle. If he had the right team, he could be a quarterback. If he had, but he's not a mobile guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a Tim Tebow, like, oh, the pressure's on me, I can really raw these guys even though I don't have the best skills. But he can make some throws. But I think we're good. I think we're good with that. Let's go to third down. In third down, I wanted to talk. We can't talk about divisions and we can't talk about ratings because we just did our best at the ratings. We really did. Now, But we can talk about one thing: all the guys switching teams, and let's start with the former owner of the Vikings, Seamays. He went from the Vikings in my division to the Ravens.
Interesting.
So that's definitely the toughest division. You got a former Super Bowl champion. You got a former clutch playoff performer in JR. Now you put one of the best guys in the NFC North in that division as well. And let's not forget the young up and comer who joined us in the last season, I think, of Gridiron Gamers, the Browns. He showed he's got heart if nothing else.
Yeah, I think he learned a lot,
That
last
one-
year.
yeah,
and
that one-
when he comes in this year and he gets his new running back, his new toy, I think he'll be okay.
And he's a Texas boy, so I want to see if he keeps Colt McCoy. So, but that's beyond the point. But I think that's the toughest division in football now with C-Mays and the young kid who could surprise people if he gets the right pieces. And we know the Super Bowl champ. That's definitely the toughest division, right?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a bloodbath.
Now, a head scratcher for me. I'm going to ask you, and I'll give my opinion. But Max of the Cardinals last year, you remember he turned around the Cardinals, had a really strong run game.
Yes.
He takes his talents to Jacksonville. Not South Beach, but Jacksonville. And
That's
then
interesting. That is another interesting move.
Alex switches to the Cardinals, obviously, so they switch teams. Go inside Max's head for a minute. Why would you go with Jacksonville?
I think he knows what type of runner he is,
Mm-hmm.
and his offense is very well at running the game.
Oh, very, very well, yeah.
So I think what could he, build, his little chess piece with, and it's going to start with MJD.
Oh.
And it is a good strategic move. So I think he's setting himself up well, maybe for not this year, but then our next year with the draft and trades.
Well, we are talking about one of the best runners I've seen in the AFC. And I think nothing's going to change because he's got the best runner in the game. You put the best runner in the AFC, maybe Burr has a problem with that, but I think Burr wins more of his games. I'm talking about the Super Bowl Steelers. I think he wins more of his games on defense. Although he's a good runner, I think the best runner in the game is Max. And so you give him Jacksonville Jaguars, I think you better watch out.
Yeah, you could be the surprise of that. You got the Texans, the powerhouse. Yeah, you could see the surprise Jacksonville Jaguars first year making a run.
Well, you remember, now, 9 and 12, the old boy, that guy who likes to put too many cooks in the kitchen, the Houston Texan guy, he loved to fire those wide receivers up like they were just breeding horses and he could find them anywhere. So he takes his talents to Kansas City now. He's going to play with Bo and Baldwin and all those guys. And the old boy Lord, he's coming to the Texans. I always liked Lord. I thought he had a very balanced attack, and I think that's what the Texans need. I really do.
Oh yeah, if anybody can, take a team very, very far and the setup he's going to have with
Yeah.
the deadly wide receiver running back combo, Lord is going to be very dangerous.
Very dangerous. I mean, I'm not taking away from the old boy who liked to get too many cooks in the kitchen. I think he has a better fit in Kansas City with Bo and Baldwin and the Michigan boy slipping my mind. Steve Breaston, I think, is over there as well.
Yeah.
But so he's got some wide receivers now. They got a pretty good running back. But we always said about I've always said about the former Texans owner Raj. I always said, he needs a scat back like a Darren Sproles. Because he doesn't really rely on the run for yardage. It's just more to keep you honest. Now he's got a pretty good scat back in Charles, so I think he's set up pretty nicely.
Yeah, and he's going to have a good 1-2 combo,
So let's talk about another switch that you're very familiar with in this third down segment. When we talk about the switch of Manny to the 49ers going out west, the Wild Wild West Manny going out west, and our boy Stocks is coming back to the north to play with me, and we had a rivalry back in the day. Now these youngins, they're not going to remember our rivalry, but these guys in our division are going to have to wake up pretty quick, because me and Stocks, I might lose to everyone in the world, but me and Stocks match up pretty well for whatever reason, so it's going to be fun in our division.
Yeah, it's kind of like, like Mr. Miyagi fighting his student.
Right? Yeah.
It's who's gonna win. So, no, we go way back, and it's good to be back in that, and we always know it's gonna be a good game no matter what. But yeah, going on the Manny side, I don't know. What is he gonna do? Last year, he came into the Packers. He blew it up for no reason. I don't understand why he blew it up. Because I think he could have made a run with just a few pieces, but not dismantling what he did. So now with, the 49ers, his defense, he's always wanted a good defense. I'm not saying the Packers weren't a good defense, but it's definitely an upgrade, from the Packers to the 49ers, with Patrick Willis back there. So, but is Manny going to be able to handle the downgrade, from Rodgers to Smith?
Well, let's face it, he blew up his favorite team. The Packers are by far Manny's favorite team. He's a diehard Packers fan. He even does the Raji dance. That if you tell him to do the Raji dance, he gets all excited. He'll do some Raji dance, and people in Italy are probably like, "What's he doing? We never heard of this guy Raji." But anyways, so he's so passionate about his Packers, but yet he blows them up, Stocks. Quick too. He blew them up in the first season when he traded Woodson away. He traded Clay Matthews. And that's beyond the past. So we're not going to recycle that, even though he knew we were going to recycle that, just because that was groundbreaking. But he has no alliance to the 49ers. He's not a fan of the 49ers. We don't even know if he likes, Alex Smith or Brendan Davis. Heck, he might not even like Patrick Willis. He doesn't have a Patrick Willis jersey at home, I can guarantee you that. So if he can blow up his favorite team with no disregard, what's he going to do with the 49ers? And is it a good thing? Because he's not with his team, is he going to be more inclined to make more moves? I would hate to see what would happen then. I guess him and the former Texan owner Raz would be in a competition to see who can make the most trades. Maybe Manny's learned his lesson. I don't know, but it'll be very interesting.
Well, the thing is how close really was Manny last year with all the trades and all the maneuvers he did? All out through 12. How close was he really to breaking through that threshold of a championship?
I think he was real close at the end. Once he finally stopped making trades. Remember that
with that in case, do you think maybe he learned something? He's just going to do a little bit better at nitpicking his team and fine tuning, those.
I think
those
so.
Those little bit more holes he thinks he may have.
Not that the trades were horrible. I mean, Stocks is a little biased. He ain't going to get rid of any Packers. But not that the trades were horrible. I mean, some of them were pretty bad, but then he also got Ray Rice pretty cheap, I thought. So he made some bad moves, but then he made some really good moves as well. So I'm not saying the trades were bad. Me and Stocks are saying, but when you mess with a team, and you mess with a good team like the Packers, and you take core pieces, it takes a while to rebuild. So what we're saying is Manny took a team that was ready to win a championship and rebuilt them. Now, he rebuilt a pretty dang good team. And don't get me wrong, he had some great corners. I mean, I played him twice a year. I beat him occasionally. But, I mean, he had a great defense. He had guys flying around. He had Ray Rice. He brought in a really good running back, which the Packers needed. But to do all that, he had to blow that team up. Now, was that a smart move? I think he would say no. But he did turn it around at the end. It would be interesting to see what he would have done if he would have kept that team intact. Because by the end of the season, he put it together. But maybe he needed to. Maybe the Packers honestly just didn't fit his style. As big a Packers fan as he is, maybe the Packers just don't fit his style of play.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's learned. And so he's like, I'm going to leave and try to find a team that fits my style more. Frank Gore, do you keep him or trade him? And what kind of value does he get real quick?
I think he's a little bit rated a little bit high.
But does he get any value? Because people know his injury concerns. I mean, maybe.
I don't think I wouldn't give up a boatload for him.
I'm not saying owner's gonna rip anyone off, but if anyone's gonna fall for it, it might be some of these young guys coming in. They tend to be a little bit more trade happy than some of them, and we all know. Heck, the Kansas City's door is always wide open now because that guy. He runs a saloon wilder than a... I won't finish that sentence. We'll move on. But I think that's all the big switches. What have we seen here? There's some new owners of stock, some new great owners I'm excited to see. Oh,
yeah.
we got to talk about the guy who joined as the 49ers because that was the only team left, but already knew when he joined he was going to go to the Saints, like instantly. That same day he joined as the 49ers, Madden 13, he knew he was going with the Saints. What do you think about him? Because I played him once, and I got to be honest, it wasn't a game at all. And if I blow somebody out, then you know they're having a bad season. I beat him 47-0. He had lost Patrick Willis. He had lost Von Miller, who he had traded for 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
He had lost his two top wide receivers. So he had lost, like, I'm not kidding you, 12 starters, I think. Honestly, I think he lost 12 starters altogether. So I didn't really get a sense of his game style, but I know this guy's got heart because he played. He didn't quit, you know. He didn't say, oh, every one of his linebackers were out stocks. He was using backup linebackers. You know, Manny had to open up the free agency just for him so he could have enough linebackers to play. I mean, we're talking, Von Miller was out for 8 weeks. And, you know, Willis was out for like 9 when I played him, and that was in week 12, so he knew he wasn't coming back. And this guy stuck with it, so I got to applaud him for that. And don't worry, man, you get one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So we'll talk about division by division as we go on. But I think we talked about a lot of the switches. You know, I don't think there was many more switches. The Titans went to the Redskins, whatever team that is. They got a quarterback, number 10. He's supposedly pretty good. I don't know. We'll see. Named Mr. Griffin, but we'll see what he does. Now, I'm kind of joking here, but Stocks, what do you think about Griffin real quick? And I don't know if you played Sting or not. You know he's a Packers fan like you.
oh yeah.
And do you think having a running quarterback, and especially a rookie quarterback that you've never played in a game of Madden, he's new to Madden, he's so electric, he's already touted the next Michael Vick. How do you handle that pressure of playing with a guy like that? And there is real pressure because he's always going to be faced, especially early in the season. You know, the first season especially, I think he's going to be faced with, do I run or pass? Do I run or pass?
Yeah, and if you know, if Stan can keep, you know, basically, you know, like a little kid at a, you know, birthday party, if he can keep him under control and just, you know, not go nuts with him, I think he could be all right. You know, he does have some decent weapons.
Yeah.
The thing is he going to push it too much and get the guy hurt? We don't know. We don't know what the injuries are going to be like this year. We don't know if it's going to be the collarbone breaking every 2 seconds. We don't know what the, you know, stuff like that, the intricacies of the game's going to come out with. And I would, like, you know, even with me with Rodgers, I have to be careful. And same thing with you with Stafford. You know, you don't know what's going to happen.
Now let me ask you this question about Robert Griffin III and Sting. You said it. He's like a kid in a candy store, and if you can control it, he's going to be really good. I think what you meant was, you know when you walk in the candy store and you see all kinds of candy, you see all kinds of options.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'll just take a basket and I'll just be like, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Of course he wants to run every play. But the threat of running itself, the threat of being in the store, and you can kind of tease the kids outside the window saying, I'm in this candy store. You don't have to grab all the candy and start eating it right away. Just being in the store, having Griffin in your hands, going back to Madden, is going to be a weapon as it is. And if he can manage that, he's going to be pretty good with him. Now,
I agree.
if he tries to scramble too much, again, my phone goes off. I told you, that's what we got to work out. I promise for the divisional breakdown, we got our voices back, we got our win back, we're going to be more efficient. And that was important for us to do this kind of, I don't want to call it crap show, but to kind of get back on the map and get used to the flow of things.
We need to have a preseason. This is our preseason.
Yeah, right? They get 4 games. We're only doing 1 podcast to warm up, so give us a little bit of a break. But going back now, so you look at it, and you see these guys, and I think this season's going to be really, really good. Let's go to your 2-minute warning now. And this is a new segment. It's the 4th down. You're only going to go for it on 4th down if you really need it. So we're going to give Stocks 2 minutes, me 2 minutes, and we're going to get out of here. We're not going to tell you if we convert it. We're just going to get out of here after the 2 minutes is over. But any closing thoughts?
Oh, no, just, everybody's got the demo out, trying everything.
Mm-hmm.
All the guys got NCA 13, enjoying that. it's a really good time. Got to give thanks to Manny for cleaning up this, actually not cleaning it up, just revamping the website is just so cool.
dude.
I have guys come in here. I saw a guy come in here the other day. It was like, oh, I Googled this, and you guys came up. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's
Dude.
like, I Googled Madden leagues, and you guys came up. I'm like, oh. I was telling him how we only had 13 guys, and we're at the cream of the crop, I think. I think we're, if people are looking to build a franchise league, from the rock bottom of 13, there's no, you can look here and see what we got. This is how it's run, and thanks to Manny.
Oh man, that is so true. I typed in Gridiron Gamers with a space. Now with a space, we're the fourth thing on that list out of all Gridiron Gamers searches on Bing. So he said he found it on Google. I searched another one. I searched Bing. We're the fourth one on that list, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Huge.
Think about that fourth.
And I didn't type gamers. I mean, I didn't type video games. I didn't type Madden. I typed in Gridiron Gamers. We were like fourth on the list. That's huge. So that's new to me.
That is remarkable.
Now, my 2-minute warning is going to involve stocks a little bit because I just like to go back and forth with them. I think that's when we're at our best. I'm going to ask you one question for the 2-minute warning after I make this little spiel. I think the playing the college, NCAA, even though they're two different games, is going to help the guys who got it. And I'm going to post a thing after this show because we can interact with the people so easily now. I'm going to ask the people, and I'm going to ask stocks before we get out of here. Do you think playing NCAA, especially this year, will help you in Madden, especially in the beginning of the season?
Oh, without a doubt, in every way. And the biggest thing I think is if we're going to have the type of scouting and rookies carry over into Madden, somewhat the way NCAA does, you're really breaking down players a little bit more. And also, you're playing an NCAA with players that aren't that great, and you have to find a way to make them work. So if that transfers into Madden, let's say you're using a few lower players, which I kind of do is I use the lower player on my defensive line. I may get better because of, his attributes are low.
And so you have to work harder. And I think especially this year with the cornerback wide receiver, animations and how they break up passes. I was playing the demo and it was very similar to NCAA. And so all the guys who haven't played it, I don't want you voting and saying, NCAA is crap, that wouldn't help. I want just the guys who played NCAA 13 and the guys who played the Madden 13 demo, only those guys, and obviously there's no way for me to really know, so we'll use the gentleman's code. Only those guys to vote, because I'd be really interested to see what those people think. I think it's definitely, yeah. I think just playing a video game right up, at least a different video game right up until the release is going to help. And this game is going to be a lot like Madden, I think. So that's all I got. We're going to get out of here with that. We're not going to tell you if we converted. You guys tell us if we made the first down and scored a touchdown or not. We'll leave it up to you guys. We're out of here.